The Jacksonville Jaguars have secured their left tackle position for the majority of Trevor Lawrence's rookie deal, ultimately just leaving off that fifth-year option. Ian Rappaport this morning reported that the Jaguars and left tackle Cam Robinson have come to a contract extension agreement. 3 years, $54 million. So quick math, that's $18 million guaranteed, on average, not guaranteed. The guaranteed money, to my knowledge, has not come out yet. But Cam Robinson was somebody that was drafted in the second round before that amazing and miraculous 2017 season. You think about that draft class, Leonard Fournette, and then Cam Robinson, that two, players that you could call very serviceable throughout their time in Jacksonville. Ultimately, neither of them really coming to fruition who you thought you'd be getting with that player or that spot in the draft. But he's someone that's seen the team make the playoffs. He was a starting left tackle in a championship game. And unfortunately, following that 2017 season, just didn't get the opportunity due to an ACL tear in week 2 to really have his big breakout sophomore year that a lot of people thought that he was going to have because of how well he played in year 1. Ultimately, he kind of has plateaued. He obviously had a big step in what is this now? Year 5 for him. He planned on the franchise tag in 2021. They franchise tagged him again, ultimately get this extension done. But he played his best ball last year. He plateaued from year 1 to 4, obviously excluding year 2 from the injury, but years 1, 3, and 4, pretty plateaued. Wasn't a whole lot going on. They didn't have a whole lot of options to do with the left tackle spot. 2021, so they franchise tag him. He plays incredibly well. $18 million a year isn't crazy money for a left tackle. John Shipley put out today as well, following that news, that the Jaguars have the 14th highest paid left tackle in the NFL in the game today. Is Cam Robinson the 14th best left tackle? If I said he was the 16th best left tackle, if I said he was the 17th best, that's 3 spots back. Is that really that bad? I don't think it is. I think that's a very middle of the pack. I think it's a very reasonable and expected number for Cam Robinson. Now, ultimately, that is until you look at left tackle Teron Armstead. Signs with Miami. And Armstead was somebody that I coveted for the Jaguars to sign in free agency in 2022. Ultimately, he does sign with the Miami Dolphins. He takes that visit, and the whole saying, you don't let him leave the office. They didn't let him leave the office. Armstead signs for 5 years, $87.5 million. You look at Robinson's deal of $18 million average. Armstead's only $500,000 less averaged. But there's two big differences with Cam Robinson and Teron Armstead. Teron Armstead is a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he's also 30 years old. So you kind of got to leverage that a little bit. Cam Robinson is a 0-time Pro Bowler and is 26 years old. So, you gain with one heck of a player and a Pro Bowl caliber player. With Robinson, you gain youth and familiarity. I think both of them have had some injuries in their career. Ultimately, Armstead has had more. He's kind of more injury known, more injury prone throughout the league. Robinson has ultimately just had, nicks and bruises, bangs up. He'll miss a couple games every year, excluding that 2018 season where he missed. He didn't start for the 14 final games of the year due to that ACL tear. Armstead's missed 12 games over the last 3 years. Robinson's only missed 5. I really do think those are two massive talking points right there when you compare the Robinson contract to the Armstead contract. Armstead's a better player for 10 games out of the year. Robinson's a less impactful player for longer. I'm taking, would you rather have really good performance for half the year or good performance for the majority of the year? I'm taking the good performance for the majority of the year because we all know offensive line depth, especially at the tackle position, is not there. It would be very scary to hear, okay, Walker Little's our starting right tackle, Teron Armstead, you're going to be our starting left tackle for 8 games. But who's coming in once he's gone? Juwan Taylor. That scares the hell out of me. I don't want someone backing up the left tackle spot that is that level, and that's all across the league. It's like an epidemic going on of bad left tackle play. Once you get past those starting 32 left tackles. Now, does his step up in play in 2021 compare to his previous 4 years? Well, let's say 3. I'm not even going to talk about the 2018 season anymore. But does that have something to do with the fact that he had the best quarterback that he's played in front of, arguably in his career? He was the best. He would have been the best one he ever played in front of in Alabama. And you look at who he played in front of in Jacksonville. You had, choir boy Nick Foles, who for like 2 games, you had, can't stay in the pocket, Mr. Ants in his pants, Gardner Minshew. You had the man that said it himself, he wasn't a natural thrower of the football. He was playing in front of wildly inconsistent quarterback play. And the first time he plays in front of a quarterback that he has some trust in because he knows he is that talented, he has his best year. Do I think there's some correlation there? I don't know, but I definitely do think if you're trying to connect some dots, those are 2 dots that I do think you should look at connecting. I'm not going to say it's a bad one. I'm not going to say it's a good one. Those dots are for you guys to connect. I'm just here to talk. But ultimately, the signing of Cam Robinson to the 3-year, $54 million deal, as reported by Ian Rappaport, isn't a bad deal in my opinion. Like I said earlier, you get really inconsistent health issues with somebody like Teron Armstead, who this contract's really being compared to because they were both kind of free agents this year. And then you have the really good, consistent play from Cam Robinson. Ultimately, I'm happy that the Jaguars, finally have enough cap space to sign their draft class. That was a huge thing for me, that they were, 2 days out, a day out, and they didn't have the money to sign their draft class. Obviously, they don't have to sign their contracts right after they get their name announced. But still, that's kind of a weird situation to put yourself in the week building up to the draft. I'm happy to have Cam Robinson back. What do you guys think? Are you guys happy to have Cam Robinson back? Do you wish they had just, not even put the franchise tag on him and gone Evan Neal, gotten Kwanu? Maybe you really like Charles Cross. I've seen him very high on some people's boards. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the signing of who is now our franchise left tackle, Cam Robinson, going into the 2022 year and beyond. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and go Jaguars.
How about them Jags?
Come on, Joe! Ah! Thank you, baby! Thank you! You make it blood come from my damn mouth!